Hey Saints, have a quick, simple story to share with you that happened today, and in the middle of a work day, as I'm walking out to lunch. The conversation was about 60 seconds, I want to say, maybe 2 minutes, maybe. But the root of the conversation started because of curiosity. I am here to plead with you to be curious about the people in your lives, and maybe you don't even care about the people in your lives that are around you, but I want to tell you that God is at work. That God is always at work in people's lives. He came to seek and save the lost. This is still his agenda. God is still at work. And if you don't care about other people's lives, be curious about what God is doing in their life. Curious to the point that it'll cause you to ask questions. It'll cause you to listen. Quick story, the backdrop of this 60-second conversation today was I had this new guy come in to the job site, and he had pretty fanciful language, I should say. There's absolutely clear that this guy was not a Christian right away. No big deal. Just it was obvious to me. And I want to get to know him, right? It's just simple stuff. So I asked him, are you married? I was. Do you have kids? I do. Do you live with them? How old are they? Right? Normal stuff. They're out of school. One's in college. Oh, where does she go to college? Right? Normal stuff. This is how it begins, you guys. I'm just curious, but there's a real part of me that knows God is at work, and I'm looking for that clue. And so he says, oh, she goes to such and such Christian college. I go, oh, wow. So she's a Christian. And he's like, yeah, she is. And I said, is anybody else in your family Christian? And he said, well, my wife. And I go, oh, that's kind of cool. I'm a Christian. Boom, out myself. And in all honesty, this conversation was really short. It was about maybe 3 months ago. But that little conversation just kept an ongoing, interesting dialogue between the two of us, him, a bunch of the world, and me sliding in Jesus. It's kind of fun. We actually just kind of banter back and forth. But what do I know? Because I was curious. I know he's got a mom and a daughter, and I know they're praying for him. I know they're praying for his salvation. I know this. I believe it. And I believe, if I could be so bold, that I am in part an answer to their prayer. What is God doing? He's hearing the cries of a mom and a daughter for the dad, the husband, the ex-husband, and he sends guys like me who's willing to go out and reach out to this guy. Well, the conversation today wasn't even with that guy, because his son came here. So his son ends up working on the job site, and now I'm bantering back and forth with the son. The son, for all intents and purposes, just like his dad, from what I can tell. So I'm walking to lunch today, and he's walking towards me, and he's smoking a cigarette. And I say something. You can steal this line if you want. That I say fairly often enough, I guess. I was going to say fairly often, but often enough. I said, hey, man, your mom and daughter, your mom and sister, I said, they're praying for you, man. I know it. They're praying for you. And he kind of laughs. And what did I say? Something like, well, the dad like you got, ha, ha, ha. And we laugh. And I said something like, well, they're praying for you. You're following your dad's footsteps. And he says, no. He goes, I'm a Christian. And I'm like, really? I didn't challenge him or anything like that, but he had never given me any inclination that he was a Christian. Now, granted, we hadn't had a really opportunity to have deep conversations, but we could. Anyway, it just didn't go there. So I'm like, really? And what did I say? What did I say then? And I said, so what happened? What you want to do is hear their story. So I'm digging, I'm curious, I want to hear their story. No matter where they're at, I believe God is at work. This guy said, oh, I was raised in a Christian home. He starts offering this stuff. And then it turns out he walked away from from Jesus at 14, became an atheist. So I asked him about this. I'm telling you, this is a 60-second conversation. He's like, I even went to Bible school. And because of the time, I said, oh my gosh, man. And then he kind of alluded to, because he knows I'm a believer, that he's, not following the Lord like he should, obviously. Kind of confesses that to me. But I simply say, wow, man, you got a story to tell. And I said, I want to hear your story. And I'm going to tell you, I'm serious. I'm serious. I have had men cry in the middle of a job site as they share their story with me. I've had 2 guys on this last job site, the very first spiritual conversation I ever had with them, they ended up crying in the middle of a hotel lobby. Men in construction. So that was it. And I'm going to have a really awesome conversation with this young man. And my hope is that he repents and he turns back to Jesus. I think he kind of knows that's coming. And I'm going to tell him, the Lord sent me here for you. And I'm going to tell him, this conversation that we're going to have, which you haven't had, is God. This is happening for a reason. And I'm going to challenge him to turn his life back to Jesus. So be curious, please. God is at work. You'll have so much fun. You hear so many stories. You have so many divine encounters and some deep, real, authentic connections with people. Not the wars and the battles that we're all afraid of. Real, genuine, awesome, deep Jesus conversations. Be curious, church. Be curious. God bless you.